Melvo lit that shit bang.
Welcome back, everybody, to Crow's Judgment, and I was sent this by one of our viewers. This is from @TedNavision, introducing a new podcast hosted by myself, Slimesicle, and J-Slat, Chuckle Sandwich, coming to your ear holes January 30th, 2021, which is in 3 days from now. Well, at first I was like, that's kind of funny, right? Because I remember all three of these individuals from the Call Me Carson situation, which happened earlier this month. And all three gave these really, just definitive statements, just demolishing Call Me Carson for his inappropriate sexual misconduct, right? Guys, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, because I think you know where I'm going to be going with this one, right? So, first off, TedNavision, right, put out this statement on Twitter. Now, I want to remind people, right, nobody, absolutely nobody, who has been critical of Carson has gone out there and had any actual issue with Carson being involved with a 17-year-old, who we've now found out was only about a month or so from turning 18 when he was 19. Nobody cared about the age gap, right? But I have to hear about sexual misconduct, right? From this guy, TedNavision, his statement, what is this, 95.7K likes, right? Or how about Slimesicle, my statement about the Carson situation, right? This is where he says he contacted the FBI and he stopped speaking with, to be clear, targeting minor for groomer sexting. You absolute deranged sack of human shit. Like, what the fuck, dude? Right? Or how about this, Jay Schlatt? Big old crocodile tears just coming out of his eyes, right? As he gives this long-winded speech about how, he was Carson's good friend, and Carson he wouldn't stop. His roommates are telling me he's doing these things, and, he's definitely probably maybe still at it, right? 3 million views on this video. So all three of these chuckleheads are making a podcast conveniently called Chuckle Sandwich, and I'm sitting there going like, what? Right? Now, I'm wondering, like, when did you guys plan to do this pod? Did you all come out with your statements about Carson, roughly around the same time, and you just decided, well, we're all such good friends and in such agreement, we're gonna do this podcast? Or is it a little bit more, conniving and manipulative? I don't know, but this just really rubs me the wrong way. It's making me question a lot of things going on. So I want to play this clip. Now, this is from Steve DeLive's channel. It's a 3.5 hour stream that he did with Narrator, where Narrator said some pretty interesting things about the Carson situation, but this is the one that I really want people to focus on.
Yeah, fuck. Garbage. All right. Are you able to disclose how many people knew about this Carson shit before it happened?
Seeing as how I don't even know a definitive number, probably not.
Would you say 5 or no?
Oh, way more than 5.
5?
Way more.
Way more than 5? Is it more than these? More than 10?
I'd say it's pretty high up there.
High up there? Would you say that this was orchestrated or no? Since that many people knew about it.
No.
It was not orchestrated.
I don't think it was.
Okay, so if you want to watch that entire thing, the timestamp's at 2 hours and 23 minutes roughly. Okay, but Narrator was asked specifically because he mentions how he was informed about the situation in December. He's saying in December, he knew that these allegations were going to come out against Carson, right? The allegations that came out in January. We know from Bo Blacks that Bo Blacks was contacted in November about future allegations coming out about Carson. So, I don't know. Maybe it's not orchestrated, right? But according to Narrator, at least 10 people were aware that this was going to happen. And I'm sitting there going like, if Narrator, who's been ostracized by these same individuals, TedNavision, Slimesicle, right? And Jay Schlatt, right? If Narrator knew, okay, I think it's more than reasonable to assume that Carson's former friends all were aware that this was going to happen. So I'm sitting there thinking, Did these jackasses, right? Especially Slimesicle, who reported this stuff to the FBI and was basically told to pound sand, right? And then later went on to continue to do content with Carson, even though he lied about cutting all contact with him, as was shown on this channel previously. I'm really curious, right? Did these absolute buffoons already plan to do this podcast, right? And they just saw a nice little opportunity to boost their profile by just shoving a knife into Carson's back? Or did they partake in orchestrating what was going on? It's really hard to say for me, because when you read their responses, right? You have Ted Division over here. When I saw the DMs posted by some of the women who came forward, I realized that the situation... Some of the women? One woman came forward. Were there supposed to be more people, Ted Division? I'm curious, right? Because this was January 6th. Only one person came forward, right? Only Sam, and only Sam has revealed DMs. And I understand there's another individual called Copycat, right? But Copycat said that they didn't have anything. So I'm really curious. Did you prepare this statement in advance of DMs coming forward because you thought that more people were going to be coming forward about Carson and only one person did? Because that to me is like really weird, right? When I saw the DMs posted by some of the women, that's not a misstatement. That's not being misworded. You literally imply that there are more people that made statements when there really weren't. There was only one. Right? So I'm looking at that. I'm looking at Slimesicle over here talking about an FBI report that he made about his, friend, right? Who he then went on to continue to do content with. So obviously he loved the clout, right? I'm looking at Jay Schlatt, right? Who says, well, his roommates told me that he still does bad things and, it might be the same thing. So maybe, probably, certainly, but allegedly, possibly, he's still up to it today. And I see all of these jerk-offs going in to do this podcast together, and there's this red flag just going off in my head, going like, what is going on here, right? Because I can always see this working one of two ways. Either A, they did work to orchestrate some sort of movement against Carson, because to my understanding, Carson was not a good friend to them, right? He's someone that they didn't like. He's someone who got a much bigger boost, became much higher profile, and they didn't like that. So they decided to, grab the knives and Julius Caesar the bastard. Or B, they were all informed of what was going on, and they just decided to be opportunistic little shitheads and get the knives and Julius Caesar the bastard. I don't know, right? But I'm looking at all of their statements. I'm looking at Ted Division, who implies that other women have come forward when only one has, right? That's weird. I'm looking at Slimesicle, who talks about how, he's not going to be associated with Carson anymore, right? Which is false, because after he reports him to the FBI, in his own words, right? He reported him. He went on to keep doing content with him. So that was a lie. He clearly cared about the fucking clout. I'm looking at Jay Schlatt, who goes on to imply these things about, his roommate said these sorts of things, right? I'm just going like, this doesn't seem right to me. Does it seem right to any of you watching this video? Does something seem incredibly wrong about this? And now, less than a month after coming forward against Carson, right? And just twisting the dagger in deep, all three of these idiots are doing a podcast together. I don't know, but something doesn't smell right about this.
Melvo lit that shit bang.